Hello, my lovies! I'm back with another Talkchology video for you guys. This video is going to be very, very interesting. And why do you think is that? So this video is going to be about coincidences. But there's a different name for it. Have you ever seen things that seem like coincidences? Have you ever seen number patterns that are repeating in your life? Or have you ever just seen things that your logic wants to make out as, this is just another, it's another coincidence, it happens all the time. What if I told you there is no such thing as a coincidence? There's another name for it, and in the spiritual community they call it synchronicities. What are synchronicities? Synchronicities are things that look like coincidences, things that look like patterns, and they keep repeating over and over and over and over again until you notice. So I would like to share a story with you guys of my own. I started my channel, my YouTube channel, which was very, very mainly focused on fitness, and about 5 years ago. And at those times, like I would definitely can tell you I was always on a spiritual path. I was always somewhat spiritual. I was meditating, you know, I was doing all kinds of, like I was reading interesting books, but it's not something where I dedicated all my life to, you know. I opened this as a fitness channel, and this was the main focus. I did started doing, however, some Talkchology videos for my Russian audience because I noticed how much requests I was getting, but I never really gave my American-speaking, my English-speaking audience a chance with these things. So it was very focused on workouts, which I should have done, but should have, would have, didn't. So when I started, I was mainly focused on a lot of fitness in my life. You know, I was watching a lot of beauty bloggers. I was very interested in like makeup and girly things. You know, it was 5 years ago. So all of a sudden, you know, it started happening after like maybe a year after I was already opened my channel. I started seeing numbers, 11, 11. 11s everywhere I went. Everywhere I went was 11, 11, 111, 10, 11. It was constantly, I was even seeing these numbers in my dreams. It was like everywhere. So I kind of brushed it off as like, it's a coincidence, it's kind of silly. Although I was like, well, maybe it isn't. Then some interesting things started happening to me. So I saw this dream, and I'm only going to share some of the story with you guys because a lot of it was very personal to me. So I saw this dream, and in this dream, it was like a voice. It was like a message that came to me. That's it was called the message of hope. And I just keep hearing the message of hope, the message of hope. And it was all this throughout the time that I was seeing a lot of these 11s, 11s, and all these numbers, repeated numbers. So I was like, brushed it off, and I didn't really care much about it. I thought it was silly. So the next thing what starts happening is I go on YouTube, and you know how they give you suggested videos on YouTube, or whatever it is you're watching all the time, they'll give you suggestions. And I was always watching workouts, makeup, things like that, vlogs and silly things like comedy stuff. And all of a sudden I see this video, and it says the message of hope. And I'm like, it's a coincidence, it's silly, it's stupid, I didn't pay attention. But throughout that day, I kept seeing this video. Every time I go on YouTube, I keep this video keep popping up, the message of hope, the message of hope. So finally, I watched this video. And I cannot explain to you what started happening. It was like a trigger. I started remembering things that did not came from my chemical memory, did not come from my brain. I do not know how to explain it to you. Back then I did not have an understanding or awareness to know what that was. All I know is that I became very emotional. I started crying. It was almost like something shifted in me. I couldn't explain it. It was not something I could logically explain. So this day was pretty big for me because everything started rapidly changing in my life. It was very rapidly changing. Something inside of me, within my conscience, had shifted. Then I showed this video to my husband. And at first he kind of saw it the first time and he fell asleep on it. But I really wanted him to see this video. And he saw it the second time. And the second time, the same thing started happening to him. He started becoming a different person. Within a few weeks, it was like our whole world, our whole inside perspective on the world had changed. But the thing is, my logic was still in play, and I was still denying a lot of the things. I thought it's stupid. I thought that this is ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. And it was not the message in the video. It was something was going on within me, something triggered within me. And then I have this dream. And this dream was very personal to me, and I do not share this dream with anyone because it's something that certain dreams, certain information is only given to us as an individual for our own expansion, for our own understanding. But what I'm going to tell you is, when I woke up, I started seeing symbols and things that I did not understand, but I knew it was something that came from a different place. I could say a place from my soul. I started remembering things and how I came into this body, you know, how I made a choice to come into this life. You know how, for your logic, how crazy this sounds? And I was still trying to make like, this is stupid, this is stupid. You know, your logic will always make up all kinds of stories just so you don't have to deal with it, because it's holding on to the old you. It won't let you trip, because logic, ego wants you to stay the same. It likes permanence because it knows that its time is limited. So what started happening then, I went on Facebook. It was like within this couple of days, I kept being in denial. Actually, like things were changing within me, but I was resisting them. And this one friend of mine who I met on YouTube sends me a message, which I haven't spoken to him like in a really long time, and all of a sudden I see a message from him like, oh, interesting. So I check, and he tells me, Tatiana, I want you to see this video. Guess which video it was? The same video. And I knew this was not a coincidence. Next thing happens after this, I start seeing a white rabbit. You know, a little coincidence too. It's like a white rabbit. Everywhere in my neighborhood, there's a white rabbit. I keep seeing him and I started chasing him. You know how in the movie Matrix, in the first movie, when Neo is going up to his computer and the letters on the screen said, follow the white rabbit? These things are not coincidences either. Because Alice in Wonderland, why do you think these authors create this? The white rabbit is some kind of a metaphor, it's a symbolism. Alice follows the white rabbit and she falls into a different world, into a wonderland, into the world where everything is possible. These things in these stories, in these movies, they're not coincidences, they're communications. These people who know something that they're trying to communicate to the rest of us. Anyways, I started seeing this white rabbit. And then all of a sudden, after one of my long walks that I took back then all the time, I come to my door and I see this rabbit that I've been seeing around my neighborhood sitting by my door. I take out an apple from my house and I give it to him. He eats and I put him inside. He's been living with me ever since. And the most interesting thing is when I walked in and I carried the rabbit in, guess what was on the clock? 11:11. So you would think, what is 11:11? If you look at the numbers 11 on the clock, dot 11, what do you see? What does it look like to you? It looks like a gate. Like the gate is opening for something. A gate for you to understand that there's something more to this life than what you perceive. So at the moment when you're seeing these numbers, it means that it's your trigger, it's your first step to understand that everything has its purpose. Everything that is happening in your life, every person that comes into your life, every situation is there to awaken you, to teach you, and to show you that you don't need to resist life. It is there, synchronicities are there to tell you that everything has its purpose so you can have a more joyful and fulfilling life. I shared with you guys also in one of my 2 videos ago how my dog Louie, that lived with me for 13 years, had passed away. He passed away on a specific date, at specific time. It was 1/11. And I shared this with you guys that 2 weeks after he passed, one of my friends who I haven't spoken to in forever sends me a picture. She didn't even know Louis passed, of him when he was a puppy in his little boots. And I've always wanted a picture of him because back then we didn't have smartphones. It was like, what, 13 years ago. And she just all of a sudden, she's like, oh yeah, I felt like sending, I found this picture and I wanted to send it to you. It was 2 weeks after he passed. So I knew he was having some kind of, so this is also synchronicity, communication. And this year has been a very difficult year because I had to bury to the ground 2 of my pets. And things are also coincidences. 2 weeks ago, they seemed like coincidences, but they're not. I know they're not. I'm going to share a very personal story with you guys because I know that if some of you watched my videos or saw my pictures on Instagram or my stories, you know that I used to have a parrot, which I also found. It's like a little parakeet. I found him 3 years ago, and I found him on, I have a date because I took some pictures on that specific date 3 years ago. He passed in a very tragic accident, and my husband found him. I was so devastated. I don't even want to tell you guys how crushed and in how much resistant I felt in that moment. Why I'm sharing this with you, I'm going to tell you in a minute. I had a hair appointment that same day. And when I went for my hair appointment, as my hair lady was cutting my hair, she all of a sudden starts telling me a story. She's like, oh, by the way, I want to tell you a story. And she's like, and she says, my son Mason. And I was like, what's your son's name? She's like, Mason. And that's my parakeet's name was Mason Belfer. And I started bawling, crying, because I knew this was not an accident or coincidence. This was Mason, or his soul, his consciousness, communicating with me and telling me that this life is not what it is. It's more to it than what we see. And then I look in her countertop, and she has a white rabbit. It's like made of, what is it, material? I don't know, but there's a white rabbit on her counter. And I'm just like, wow. And I was like, wow, none of this is a coincidence. None of things in life are coincidences. Your mind will try to talk you out of it and tell you you're going crazy. Things are just happening because the way they're happening, but nothing is happening just to happen. Everything has its purpose in life. So when I started my channel 5 years ago, I was a completely different person. And 5 years fast forward, you know, in a way I lost myself because I was like, all I was focusing on was fitness, although I wasn't a spiritual path I was doing, but it was very fitness and physical. I created over 280, maybe more workouts on my channel. And what I realized is I want people, I don't know how I'm going to do this, and I want to ask your guys' advice. I came to realize that all of these coincidences and things that are happening in my life, all these numbers, and I'm just sharing like little 1% of things with you guys. There's so much more that's happening, that's been happening, that changed me completely, transformed me into a different person that I am today. It made me become less resistant to life and understand that life, we should accept it as is, because it makes our life more fulfilling, to understand that this is not the only thing. So what I realized is that I want to create a program. I want to create a program that includes fitness. I want to create workouts and all of this. I want to come back to do this. But I want people to be more aware. And I don't want to be just one of those trainers, mind, body, and soul, which there's hundreds and thousands of those. I want it to be deeper. I want it to be something more. I want to create a program. I don't know how I'm going to go about this. Maybe one of you can give me a really cool idea. But I want to create a program to make people not just work out, but I want them to be truly more aware of themselves, more aware of life, more expansive, more knowing about who they are. I want people to open up and not just resist life, not resist their struggles, but accept things and learn from them. Take every failure as an opportunity. So what I want to create is a program that will incorporate this awareness, this growth of spirituality, whatever religion or belief you have. At the same time, you can work out and train your body, develop yourself physically, develop yourself spiritually, and become a more fulfilled and happy person in life. Not just have a six-pack and a great ass. There's just so much of that. How much more workouts are there going to be? How much more of that? So with all these synchronicities and things that has been happening in my life over these years, I realized that this is what I need to do. I cannot just film workouts and just focus on this. I want to expand. I want to do something more. So in your life, it's the same thing. These synchronicities are telling you that there's more to life. And so you have no resistance to whatever is happening, to whatever events. It's okay to feel pain, it's okay to feel sadness, but we have to learn to accept it and understand that nothing is what it seems. And this is why these synchronicities and these so-called coincidences are happening in our life. We're seeing these numbers. I think I shared with you a couple of years ago when I got into a car accident how I started seeing these numbers, 33 and 31. It was the same thing. I've learned so much from these events and experiences in my life. So much growth I've experienced. It's incredible. And so this is what I wanted to share with you guys. So don't think everything is, just pay attention. Become more aware what is around you. Live with awareness. Don't just go in your life on autopilot, doing your daily things. Understand that there's so much more to life, how much more fulfilling and happy and joyful you can be if you stopped being resistant to life's events, if you become more aware of what's happening in your own life, if you expand, if you follow the white rabbit or the numbers or whatever similar situations you have. No coincidences, only synchronicities, awareness. That's what it's all about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I promised you that I will come back with some workouts, but I want it to be not just physical things. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I don't know how I'm going to go about it, but I want to create people who are not just physically fit, but who are happy, who are aware, and who are on a constant path of expansion in every direction. Yes, that's what I want. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any requests for the future videos, I would love to hear about them in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching.